The Unfinished Journey, the story of the high-strung 12-string guitar. Maybe my mother was right. Maybe I would jump off a bridge just because my friend did. Then again, in my defense, it would depend on how high that bridge was and what was at the bottom. I hadn't thought about any of that for a very long time. I guess, in my own way of thinking about things, that's what happened with a 12-string guitar, a friend, and me. Now, the friend I'm talking about isn't what I'd call a typical friend. He has a mind that thinks outside the box and the lack of inhibition to let him slip outside the norm every now and then. He's the guy yelling, "Let's try it!" while I'm standing there worried about what might happen if we do. You see, I often find it damn near impossible to step beyond the imagined boundaries I create for myself. I've known him all my life, but the last time we really might have had a chance to sit and talk was 58 years ago at our high school graduation. We went our separate ways and didn't reconnect until a few years ago on Facebook. Once we reconnected, we'd talk every now and then on the phone or text. You know how it works. One day, he got to mentioning something about high-strung guitars, and as things go in our conversations, I mentioned something about wondering what a 12-string would sound like strung up that way, and he said I should try it. Remember that bridge thing with my mom? Remember that boundaries thing of mine? Well, it so happened I had a 12-string, a Sigma Martin, that I figured could use a change of strings. If it was going to happen, there wouldn't be a better time to try it out. So, in typical Grandpa Wally fashion, I got all worked up, ordered 2 sets of D'Addario 10 to 26 gauge guitar strings, took off the old strings, set the bridge pins where I wouldn't forget them. Now that's an important fact in this story. And set the guitar off to the side. That's how everything stayed, and stayed, and stayed. So, one day, Ed, the friend of mine, tells me he's flying out to Phoenix and we're going to get together. Now, you should know he didn't just spring this on me. He gave me plenty of time to bulldoze a path through Casa de la Tin Can and all of that. Hell, there was more than enough time to string up that 12-string with the new set of strings. In good old Grandpa Wally fashion, I thought that was a damn good idea. Idea being the problem with all of it. I thought and thought and thought it was a good idea. I do thinking real good, you understand. Doing, well, doing, that's another thing with me. So, Ed's gonna show up at my door, and I figure I'll surprise him with the high-strung 12-string guitar. That's the plan. Guitar, check. Strings, check. Bridge pins. Yeah, those bridge pins I put where I wouldn't forget them? Can't find them. Everything's fine. I just won't mention anything about the guitar and my idea. Well, funny thing is, sometimes I don't know me all that well. Ed gets here. We're looking at a guitar or three when he noticed the stringless 12-string. Of course, I spilled the beans on my great idea about high stringing the 12-string. Let's do it, he says. A day later, the bridge pins are still where I put them so I wouldn't forget them, but now I still can't find that place. So we decide to go to a music store and buy some. Sounds simple enough, right? You'd be surprised. We finally found Riley at Pale Horse Guitar Works, who managed to literally scrounge up 12 bridge pins, 11 black, 1 white. Evidently, there's not a high demand for bridge pins, and we were in business. Got the guitar strung up. Of course, Ed did the work, what with me being the idea guy, you understand. Dang thing turned out to be something cooler than I think either of us thought it might be. The problem is you can't hear what it sounds like. My plan is to record it and put a video up on YouTube of me strumming it a bit if you're interested. That's the plan, you understand. But for now, to the question my mother would ask me about jumping off a bridge just because my friend would. My answer hasn't changed. It still depends on the situation. Sure, I've jumped more than once, and either mid-flight or when I landed, I wished I hadn't. But this wasn't one of those times. No life-altering consequences with this one. A few dollars for strings, a search for bridge pins that I put exactly where I knew I'd find them, a stop at a couple music stores, and in the end a soft landing with a cool result. Maybe it's age, the experiences that I've had jumping in the past, or something else, but I do know I've not thought about the whole jumping thing for a long time. Well, I'm thinking about it now. I know folks will ask what I have to lose if I do jump now and again. And the truth is, I don't know how to answer, so I don't. Sure, I wouldn't blame you for thinking I'm making a big deal out of what seems like such a trivial thing. Making a high-strung 12-string guitar doesn't rank high on the list of life-altering moments. The thing is that in my world, left to myself, I would never have done such a thing. Hell, truth is, I likely wouldn't have thought of doing it. In the end, Ed had an idea that I see as jumping off a bridge. After all, a 12-string is supposed to be a 12-string like every other 12-string. And yet, I did something totally outside my norm and ended up with something I'm glad I was a part of. Who knows? Maybe there'll be another bridge that will show up. Maybe I'll create my own bridge. No matter if that bridge shows up, don't be surprised if I jump. Sorry, Mom. And so the unfinished journey continues.